Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my quick Dawson's Rambles video just on this latest neat little mini trailer we got for the Shattered Grid comic, which was actually done in live action, which was kind of unexpected. I think they did like a voiceover thingy before, like it was like voiceover with images. I didn't watch it because I almost didn't watch this one just because it's kind of a stupid thing for like my own personal thing, but like when I'm reading the comic, I don't hear the voices of the original cast. Like, if anybody, maybe Tommy sometimes, but the other 5 for me are not like the original Rangers for me. They're like a totally different version, like obviously based on it, but they're just like, you know, newer, better versions that are characters. So like, it's kind of like when you read a book and you hear a different voice or see a different face. So like when I'm reading the comic, I see and hear different people. So I kind of didn't want to taint that. But since they did this in live action and I heard it was neat, I had to check it out. And it was pretty cool. It was really neat. It was kind of this taste in to a world, or a window to a world in which Power Rangers was a show that they actually continued to build the lore on and care about it and not just make it, oh golly gee, don't just be friends with your bullies. They'll just be your best friend and not beat you up if you're their friend. Like, that's the show right now. We're like, don't steal, don't lie, even if it's like a good lie. Anyway, this was like a minute into the video. It's not even about the trailer. So it was really small. Like, it's not anything huge. It was just kind of a set of neat things. Like, it starts with just a bunch of voiceovers and like panning over sort of Drakon's like collection of destroyed Ranger memorabilia. Like, this is the graveyard of the Legacy Line, ha ha ha. And there was a couple cool voiceovers. The first one was like Jason's like, never give up, never surrender. It was like the Galaxy Quest lines just happening, like, Commander Taggart has saved us. No, that didn't happen. No, it was like, if there's one small chance of victory, something. I don't know what the second one was. Honestly, I listened to it like 5 times. I don't remember that episode. I think it's from an alternate timeline, Mandela Effect. The second one was like, I pass you on to like the Red Ranger. I'm like, who is that? That sounds like a stock voice. He sounds terrible. So I have no idea who the second one was. Third one was Jen's, I'm like, I'm here to bring you back. That one gave me chills because I was like, oh, Mighty Morphin lines, here we go. And then Jen comes in and it was a good line. And then another point of chills was they showed the scene where the Space Rangers reveal themselves, like their identities and morph, and it was reflected off a Red Ranger helmet. And on my first watch, I thought it was like a destroyed Red Ranger helmet that he had in one of those cases, but it was actually the Red Sentries. So that was really cool. And then, so we get like a bunch more voiceovers and stuff like that. And then we zoom out to see like he's sort of watching Power Rangers Tube, and it's like all these green screens, literally, of like all these moments in Power Rangers history from literally every season. Like, RPM's up there at some point. He was really inspired by Scott's acting, so he threw Jessica Jones up in the corner too. That didn't happen. But, you know, there are all these different scenes, and then he says so much wasted potential. And oddly enough, at the time, Dino Charge and Megaforce were on the screen. I'm just saying. No, but so he's kind of like watching all those moments, and then we get to see actual JDF in like Drakon, like not only the suit, but like kind of, you know, long hair and makeup to make him look like Drakon. Well, he is Drakon, you know what I mean, because Drakon's like, you know, warped. And he takes a moment to look at like the scene of him like joining the team afterwards. And then we get a look at the Yellow Sentry that they actually made the suits for. We get a look at that, and they also did do Red. You can see it in a scene too, when they're walking away. And I'm gonna be honest, it's cool that they made them. They don't look that good though. Like, I mean, to be fair, this wasn't like meant to be a super professional show movie thing. It was just for a neat little trailer, but they definitely look like cosplay. Like, just, you know, it's not bad. It's just like, okay, yeah, that looks a little weird, like oddly proportioned. I kind of wish they would have done, I don't know, I think it was pink. Pink has a hood, so I feel like the hood could have hidden the weird helmet proportions. I don't know. But they did pink and yellow, or yellow and red. Red we really don't get to see that much. Like I said, we saw the helmet shot, what I was talking about earlier, and I didn't even know that was him at first, and then it's like a background shot, unless there's like a flash I missed, but we mainly get to see yellow, because then Drakon puts his helmet on, like whew, he doesn't like go, it's not, guys, it's whew, and then he starts walking with her, and the Drakon suit I think looks a little bit better. It's a cool looking suit, I'm not talking about design, but like the physical suit, it looks a little weird. I think it might partly have to do with JDF's like, you know, bulkiness now, but it looks a little odd. I'm being nitpicky, but I just wish it looked cooler. But his looks the most normal of the three. Like, it looks like it could assimilate into the show. And then he just kind of walks out onto the terrace, and there's a really cool, like, over-the-shoulder shot where he's like, no, that wasn't cool over-the-shoulder shot. Like, he was cooler than that. And then he's like, oh, like, you know, into the first galactic empire! And that's how it happens. And yeah, so it was basically that. Him watching footage and just a little bit of Drakon, and then there's like a Shattered Grid logo at the end, and it's a nice little teaser. It was really cool, especially seeing all those different Ranger moments. It's definitely stuff you would expect out of like anniversary seasons or crossover storylines that we just don't get anymore, like if they cared about the franchise more. I'm interested to see how this story, I'm really excited for the comic. I'm interested to see how it plays out with like, I didn't even think about this, but like the versions of the other teams we're getting. Because in this one, he's clearly watching footage from the show, including MMPR. But the Shattered Grid universe, or the, not Shattered Grid universe, but the comic timeline he's from is an alternate timeline. Like, it's not the show we know. It's like an alternate timeline. I know there's been people confused about that, and if there's any confusion, they have cell phones. So that's just a good news. So it's like an alternate timeline in which they were actual characters and there was good writing. So it almost seems like we're going to be meeting the versions we know in the comic, which kind of disappoints me because I was looking forward to seeing what the alternate takes were like. Because they're not full-on alternate takes, like, oh yeah, Jack was actually, you know, I don't know, not Jack. Or I couldn't think of something funny in time. You know, Jack was actually Michael Scott from The Office. There we go. But they're like the same, but it's like different, you know? It's just like slightly different if things were more fleshed out. So I was looking forward to seeing like snapshots of like the alternate takes on these guys and see what basically could be done with all these teams in the hands of the writers. Obviously we wouldn't have time to get on, I guess, spotlight on everybody, but I thought it would have been cool. So I'll be interested to see how that all works out because I thought this would have been a cool springboard to maybe test the waters for other teams, but I'll get into that in another video. So my bottom line with that is I'm curious to see how that plays out. It was neat to see nonetheless. It was cool to see the stuff in live action a bit, even if the costumes were kind of, that was neat. There's been people speculating that these are going to be used in the Ninja Steel anniversary episode and we just didn't know about it. Or they'll use for something else. As far as Ninja Steel goes, I'm not going to rule anything out. I highly, highly doubt it personally. I don't think that's gonna happen. It just seems like there's too many reasons why that wouldn't be a thing. But given all the announcements recently with GoBusters and Hasbro and all that, I don't want to rule anything out in this crazy time. I do think there's a chance they could be used for something else, because after all, they did go through the trouble of making those Sentry suits. We barely saw Red. I don't know. I don't want to rule anything out. It'll be cool to get like web series or something. I doubt that would happen. I think, honestly, the thing I could see being the most likely to happen is like maybe more little teasers. Because I think, if I remember right, this storyline or this comic run is supposed to run through the summer. So I could see us getting more little teasers at various like important parts where they want to tease it, or maybe like before the final issue. I think that would be really cool, like marketing, to like, you know, if something big happens and 3 issues in and they want to tease the next issue, do a little live action thingy. I think that would be cool. There's supposed to be a big announcement at WonderCon this weekend, which is tomorrow. I don't know what that's going to be. If it's something really significant, I'll probably do a video on it, but sometimes Power Rangers overhype stuff, so it's hard to tell. Like, they're like, tomorrow we'll start our huge 25th anniversary celebration, and then they like tweeted about figures that had been out for 3 months. So, who knows? But, I'd be interested to see if they do anything else with it. I'm just not going to get my hopes up for it, because even though there's been a lot of shakeups lately, we're still under the old regime right now, so who knows. I'd love to be surprised. But the bottom line about this is it was super cool to see. It was just a really neat little teaser, like the first really neat live action content we've gotten for Power Rangers since the movie, to be honest. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dawson Ryder, signing out.